I try to see if it's streaming. I think I'm gonna stay for 1.5 hours here, see what I can do, and then after that I'm gonna go make a short video to post on Twitter for the Buildspace update. But I think I'm not gonna be able to do things in the correct way. Just gonna be like the shitty version for now. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is to fix the error messages, like when the code is wrong here. Yeah, now it's not showing anything because I changed there, I think. So I think what I want to do is show a message here with the error, whatever the error is, when the code doesn't work. And then what I have to do, like I made it work like this, but this is trash because the only thing that I'm doing is just drawing the line from one point to the other, and I also try to make it so that the line is in the middle of the node, but then it fucks up the positions when the node changes position. But at least this way it works, like it looks like it works. And the other thing that sucks here is that when I close here, this stuff doesn't update because it's not a part of the resizing event, I think. So the thing that I was looking up is that there are, I think, as usual, several different ways to do this. But the way that it probably is recommended is you create a constraint object using the matter.js, and then through the constraint object you create the connection between the objects, and then you create the line. And there are some examples with that. I think this is one example, is the cloth, and the other example here, which is the fact that I want to achieve, but I'm not sure if I should do it that way or not, or try another way. It's a shame that they don't have any example that it is like a node graph. Obviously that would make a lot easier. But this is the kind of the fact I think that I want to achieve for the edges connecting the nodes. But obviously it's going to be different because it's not a net, it's just edges. But right now I just have the lines. So like the issue here is that, like, one, I can't do the context because if I use the context, I have to create the context bridge they talk about in the documentation on React Pixie. I don't know for sure why, but it seems like it has something to do with the way that they manage the context or state for the stage. So I think if I want to use context of the nodes that I created inside of any element that I put inside of the stage, I have to do this thing here, which is create another component and then consume the context from the component, and then put this component, wrap this component on the stage here. And I don't want to do that because it's going to complicate things, I think. But the way that I found now that it seems to work is that I'm just creating an object as a global variable there, and then I set the reason why I need access to the context is because I need to change the node position. When I create each element, I also create another component called particle because I wanted to simplify this one, because this one was done for any shape. And I also think I have to leave this component here because I'm using these as for the other ones to create the boundaries. And from the documentation, looks like that's the way to do it. But it also is another thing that I don't really like that much. And I want to see if there's maybe some way that I don't have to do that. Because the way that they recommend, the reason why you have those lines there, if I do it through here, like these lines here, is because what they tell you to do is to create 4 rectangles, and then you put one rectangle on the right, on the left, and top and right and bottom. And those rectangles create the boundaries so that the ball doesn't go outside. But here it's kind of buggy as well. Like sometimes you can make it go outside because it bugs the event listeners. But I don't really like this style here. Like I would prefer it to not have any boundaries for the graphs, because then the next thing that I want to implement is the zoom in and out effect. And like if the graph is very big, then my concern is that if I have these boundaries, then it's not going to be good in the visualization. Like there's several things that I need to fix as well. But at least the labels look a lot better now, and I have the connections. So I think that like this is good enough to make the update. As otherwise it's gonna be like only gonna be able to send tomorrow, I think. So what I'm trying to do now is make I think I can delete this page as well because I'm not using this. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna use this thing. I created in the beginning, I think just to figure out what is going on. Let me delete this thing. So just changing off stream the way that I'm checking here. I was returning this data, but now I'm just returning the actual thing. So when it fails, I need to set error to response dot data. So I create another state variable there to handle the error message, and then I'm putting the error here. And the other thing that I have to figure out is how to show the loader. I think that's the next thing that I'm gonna do, if this one works. This is not showing. Oh, so it is showing here. So I have to change the color. And I think I wanna change the wrapper to be display flags, and then I think just display flags is gonna automatically. Oh, yes, not good. Maybe I'll create another one. That's the other class. Is this one? I'm gonna leave the UI thing and everything else for the last parts in the demo, like in the Buildspace thing, because it is the most annoying one. Like I don't like one, I don't have the I don't think I have a good like design. Not sure I'll just say this, but not very good at design. And the other thing is that it's very annoying to make it work with the responsiveness of everything. I think in my mind I can picture like what would look good, but then I don't have like I'm not very good at like making that yet on the website, because there's a lot of stuff that depends on like the actual business side of things, like having customer supports, testimonials, stuff like that. That I think that it makes it look more legit. So like I think I have a good intuition when I look at a page to see what looks good or not. But then to actually create it, it's like a different story, I think. And I'm not very good at that, so. But I think this is good enough for now. Yeah, there you go. So now it's not working. So that is okay. It doesn't show anything. Oh, it's because I comment this out. Also, I think for there's a library called I think it's TrueAs or Toast. I'm not sure how to say it. But that library is good to display errors. I think I might try to use that later to display these messages here. Data.maps, not a function. So I have to check to see. Like first I have to console log on the page. But I have to make some checks here to see if the data exists, I think. I'm not really sure as well why I'm getting these errors here. I think it's because like it is one of the components there on the visualization thing. So yeah, I'll deal with the mistake there later. think it's because I have to parse this here. That's why it's not working. But maybe I should test. I should put like something like this first to see. Oh, actually, the other thing that I have to see is if I'm gonna use the other graph from Graphology, so I can use the thing. But I think I'm not gonna do that, so I can like do like this way here, the Graphology there. Yeah, this library here. I think after I do the updates for this week, then I have to see, maybe I'll create another page just to play around with this. I think I'm gonna delete the fiber graph once this one it looks better, because I'm just gonna use this one. I think it's better to just focus on one thing instead of trying to do like multiple different things. So just focus on this one. It looks like this that Pixie is efficient enough as well so I'm not gonna have to spend a bunch of time trying to see if I can optimize for more nodes, because I think it's gonna be efficient enough to have like thousands of nodes. I think like it's gonna be very rare for a script to have more than 5 million nodes or something like that. And it looks like that if you have like up to 1 million nodes, it should work decently well. So I'm just gonna focus on the Pixie version. But I think what I'm gonna do is just create another page and then like play around with the physics, test a bunch of different stuff, create different bodies and different ways to update everything. So I learn more on how everything works. And only then after I do that, then I'll think about the way that how to structure the graph again, because I need to understand more how the physics work and how to do like animations and everything like that. Like the biggest challenge I have is that there's so many ideas that I have, and like it's hard to think about what would be the best way to structure them, because then like I'm gonna have to change this whole thing here, I think, as well. Like eventually I'm gonna have to do, I think like I want to follow or try to do like the very similar way to that the code sandbox is, where you can change this here, and then like instead of having a space for the files, you would have a space for like customizing the visualization here. I think that's the direction to go. But then there's so many different things, and it's challenging because it's starting to get complicated. It starts to get complicated the more customizations you have, because everything is connected to the visualization. So I need to like, I think, try more, test different stuff and see like how it works. Yeah, there we go. Nice. I'll have to think about like a script that is gonna be bigger, let's say. Let me try to import a library that is not allowed there. Just see what I get. That's another thing. Yeah, okay. So nice. Let's do math now. Yeah, this is bad. That's another concern because it's one of those things like it's similar to ChatGPT, I think, with prompt injection that is very hard to predict because I don't have a lot of experience with cyber security. How people are gonna like all of the ways that they're gonna try to like extract the information and then or like do things to hack the hack the system. I think I don't really care about if they like getting information that is related to the code itself, obviously, because I'm doing this while live streaming, so it doesn't matter. Like anyone has access anyway. But then it would be pretty bad, something related to a database or something, or the environment variables, that kind of stuff. So I have to think about like if it is bad or not to leave the error messages like this. I also don't understand why I'm getting that error there because the library is acceptable here. It's on the allowed libraries list. And also this one fucked it up on the other one. We passed this one. It's also a bad sign. Yes, stack frames exception is the one here. It should return failed there. Not sure why it didn't. Oh, but it did hit this thing here. Oh, it's because I'm doing the other way around. So dumb. Should start with true and then turn to false. I should also have an else statement here. Oh no, I think it's correct. Problem is that I have to return something else. I think I'll return the Yeah, I'll make a variable called exception or except. You should print the allowed libraries. I've been delaying to do this stuff because it's kind of annoying. It's not difficult to do, it's just annoying as fuck. Yeah, but if I do it like this, then I can't make the check there outside. I think it's better to just return an object and then use the object. I think I don't need this node strings as well. I just created this in the beginning because I didn't have the thing there, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. Because I didn't have this function here, so I was returning that before. I'm just gonna leave like this. And here on the frames I have to return an object as well, I think. is I have to return the error message if there is an error message. So probably make this into a string as well. Hmm. Stuff because I don't know what part's failing. So S should be on this one. But why would say that? I think if it was here, you would show an error there. So that should be here. That's because of the local variables here, I think. So when you try to serialize here, it fucks it up. So obviously what I can do is just, yeah, but I have to loop over the local variables. That's the issue. What I think is happening is because one of the values in the local variables, so local variables is an object, and then one of the values inside of the object is a module, which is the math, and then it breaks when I try to JSON.dump there. So I'm thinking about like converting to a string here, but then I have to loop over the values. Wondering if there's any other way that is gonna be better. I think I'm gonna solve the loading first.
To server rendered pages. Let me show you how. Here we're looking at an X12 app with two routes, a home route and a post route. And this post route uses get server side props. So when we click the post link, we're not going to see any feedback until get server side props runs and the new page renders. And this can be a little confusing to users who don't know whether the app is responding or it's loading data. And if we copy this and paste this dynamic route into a new tab, we do see the browser loading spinner, but that's only at the initial renders from the server, and there's not much else we can do to improve this. So let's see how Next 13 makes this a lot better. I've got the same app here in Next 13, and if we open up app post page.tsx, we'll see the exact same page, except we're loading data directly inside of our server component. So if we come over to our app, we'll see exactly the same behavior when we click on posts. And if we open the server rendered page in a new tab, we'll also see the browser loading spinner. But if we come back to our home page, refresh, and click again, we'll notice that on subsequent navigations, rendering is actually instant. And that's also true when we use the back and forward button of the browser. So this is already a huge improvement over Next 12, thanks to Next 13's router cache, but we can do even better than this. If we come over to our app and add a new file right under our post directory called loading.tsx, and we paste in.
That's what I'm gonna do, create a component for the loading. So I think I understand how it works. I'm just thinking about how I'm gonna put the message, where I'm gonna put the message. Because if they click here, then like, do I put the loading thing here on the graph, or do I put here on the button, or I put on both? Same with the execute, and I'm not really sure how it works. I think I downloaded the React suspense thing, but maybe not. Or just suspense, not sure how it is, but I think I'm just gonna wrap the thing around the React suspense and then use the default, but I don't know how it works really well. I think I'm gonna have to download because it looks like I did. Let me make the component.
A React component. Let's come back to our app. Go
You implement this first on this one. Or maybe it is easier to look in the buttons down. So here. You can just set load files after I have the nodes there. Or maybe I think I'll do it here.
Go home and reload and check out the new behavior. So right when I click posts, we actually see our loading template being rendered. Let's do that again. As soon as I press, we get an instant loading state, so our users know our app is responding. And of course, we can come over here and get a little bit fancy with our loading state, so the whole experience is even more seamless. And of course, even with the loading template, our router cache is still working for us, so subsequent navigations are instant. Now, the cool thing about these loading templates is that they're actually server components that are streamed up from our backend via suspense. And because suspense and streaming work on the server side now, if we were to grab this URL and open a new tab and paste it in, we're actually going to see our new loading template streamed up instantly as soon as our page loads, and then the data will be fetched on the server, and then the app will re-render once that data is ready. And I think it's just so cool to see all these layers come together to give our users instant feedback, whether they're navigating on the server or on client.
Thing is that I don't want to use like a package. I just wanna have the components. Maybe I'll leave it like this for now. I'll think about this later. So I'm gonna make it work first. I think that's good enough, probably, for now. They're just gonna do the same thing here. Then I'll search off stream for, because yeah, the other one is maybe I'll use suspense as well, React suspense. I remember, I think that's React Fiber uses the suspense. React Tree Fiber. Oh, I think this is new. I thought it was only on one page there, on the Matter.js, but I think they added this now. Nice. This is much better actually to navigate. I think in some of these pages they have the React suspense thing. Maybe it wasn't here that I saw, it was somewhere else. It's so fast that I can't see. They're just gonna use set timeouts, I think. I think I'm gonna put, maybe I can put the class name here. But I think that's not gonna work because it's gonna be, yeah, maybe I just wrap this in a div. I think this is better. Just easier. What? Yeah, we're doing this wrong. I have an easier way to see it. Let's let this shit through. Yeah, there we go. It should be working. So I think now I still have to figure out the whole module thing. I think I'll just loop over the local variables. I'm reluctant to do that because I think it's not that good. Because then obviously I have to do a loop for each stack frame. Just gonna slow down things a lot, I think. But I don't see any. Maybe in the end I can, like once I return the stack frame from here. Yeah, here. Which thing is, I think maybe this is more important to figure out first. It's just like more annoying. I'm more curious about like the thing that I wanna fix first is the, not fix, but see if I can do it the other way, where I'm not using the, not just drawing the lines. I'm creating the constraint. The thing that the problem with the constraint is that you need access to the two bodies. And the way that I'm doing here is that this particle component creates the graph. So each time outside, I'm looping over the nodes and I'm creating this component. And then each time it creates this reference to the component, which is the body. And then body.current is the element. And then through this thing here, and also through the graphics, which is the graph here for the graphics, it creates the thing inside of the use stick, which is the animation loop for the pixie. But the issue is that I'm creating the edges outside of this thing. So like either the best approach is to create everything like on one component. So like I would have the whole graph as being one giant component, and then I create everything like inside of that, instead of doing the way I'm doing here. But that way, like, it doesn't seem that good, I think. Also, don't know if I can think about how to make that way work. But if I do it the way that I'm doing here, then the issue is that by the time that I create the edges, I don't have access anymore to the graph here. So like what I'm doing inside of here is the whole thing about the global variable, which is just make this node's position equal to an object here. Like I think that if I make it work this way, I'm just gonna remove the node's position from the context, because then I won't need it anymore. And I will just return the edges and the nodes there. And I think it's probably better to do it this way. But I think I wanted to avoid, but like this is the thing that I'm not really sure about it, because like I'm just using a global object and I'm not using state to update this thing, so I'm not really sure. I think the trade-off is memory for speed. Like here uses more memory, but it's faster, because the other way, like every time I get the data, I have to update the node's positions, which makes me have to loop over the thing twice, I think, because I'm spreading twice here, which is not very good, I think. So it would be better, because here I already have to spread twice on both nodes and edges to update them. Yeah, but the reason why I have the object is so I can track the positions, like each time that I create the particle, and I change the position, then I change the value of the ID inside of this cache here, which is going to be the position right now, the position of the node. And here, if I do minus radius, which should take into account the radius of the node, it fucks up the thing there. This is like something that I don't understand really well why. And also the text is weird because like it stays in range, but like I think the reason why is because the way that it is updating these values here, which I don't understand really well. Like I don't like the way that the example was, that it was using the, now I changed here, but on the other one still, like it's using this XY function here, which I think I'm gonna change as well. So if I take into account the radius, it fucks up the, like now is in the middle, but then if I move around, it starts, it goes outside. And I guess it's obviously because of the way that it is being updated there, but I don't understand like how is it possible, because like it should be the same position as the node minus the radius, so it should always stay at the center of the node. So I don't understand really well how it works. And this is the reason why I said like it's probably better like tomorrow what I'm probably gonna do is to create another page maybe, and like I wanna clean this stuff up as well. See if I can. The problem is that I have to use the shape to create the boxes. That's the other annoying thing. But because I don't know really well how the engine works, this is the thing that kind of annoys me about this, is that like I kind of have to use two black boxes here, which is the Matter.js and the React Pixie, because I can't really look at the source code in React Pixie because it's like all compiled after that, after the version I have here. And the source code is a bunch of classes, and then I don't understand really well how like the classes are translated into components. And it's annoying because then it becomes like more difficult to understand how everything works, because you're like, obviously I can still understand, but then I have to create a bunch of different inputs and then see the output, and then like try to understand how to do everything. Also have to think about the mouse and the zoom effect. But I think I'm not gonna be able to do this today, because what I'm gonna have to do is just probably create another page and then just like try to test a bunch of different stuff. Like try to do animations maybe that doesn't have like, is not strictly related to creating the graph, but like try to do a bunch of different animations or a bunch of different things so I understand how everything works in the library. That's what I want to do. I have to see, like, how do I put an event here? I have to get the stage by a reference. Maybe I can use the use app hook. Yeah, have app here. So maybe I can do app on and then zoom. And then I change the scale. Let me do 10 here to see what happens. I have to read the documentation as well to understand. And now it is not, it's not moving. 0.1. The other thing I have to fix is that it doesn't clear the graph when I press there. Yeah, now it works. So once I update the position to this thing here, then I use that on the edge component. I think I'm gonna remove the tags from this one. That's probably what is giving me the error. Yeah. Because I'm passing as children there, but there is no children, so. So though in this component, maybe I should, no, I think, yeah. So in this component, I'm using the node's position to calculate to draw the line. But the issue here is that I don't know, like, my idea now is to, instead of setting up like the ID here, the position, I make the node ID equal to the body, to B. And that way I would have the cache of all the elements with the node ID. I think that's what I'm gonna try to do. And then if that works, then I can use the composition. But the problem is if that doesn't work, then I think it gets complicated. Because then I have to think about like how I'm gonna connect the two. And it's tricky because then like the difficult thing is that there's so many different ways to do everything. And there's so many different things that I can do. That's why it's difficult. Like I can move, create a single component or change the way that I'm doing everything, like use different functions of this library here. So I have to understand more how this works. Also, maybe I'll do that off stream because I saw this, I watched this playlist here, and he does it. Obviously, he's not doing on React, so it's slightly different. But he shows, yeah, those are the videos. But he shows how to create the constraints and connect everything. I think this is the function that creates. I think I'll do this off stream and I'm just gonna fix the. I think I'm just gonna do the update the video without like doing this. I'm just gonna do it the way that it is here. I'm gonna have to remove the radios and then just leave the line from the like kind of the edge of the node there, the particle. Yes. Here. So I have to probably gonna loop over the local variables. Not sure if there's a module on it. Oh, that's another problem. I have to catch the exception there. Oh, let me think. Oh, it's here. It's because of here. I think I have here. Let's see if this works. There we go. Nice. I think I'm gonna leave it like this and whatever. Just gonna make a small video and talk about the improvements. like there is one like question in my mind as well from like this whole thing about update launch and the whole cycle there, which is obviously you always have the two extremes and then the nuance in the middle. So like the question is, how often should you do these things? Like, because I think it's like at the very extreme, you would like every time you do like create another variable, you do a launch. So that wouldn't make sense. And then at the other end of the extreme, you never do launches, only like when there's like a very big thing. So there's obviously a line there where it starts making sense and like an optimal approach probably to how frequently you should do these launches, and you should put updates. And the reason why I'm thinking about this is like for after build space, for after the whole after the demo day, like if I continue to work on this, if I should do one each week or if I should do it based on the like on what I create, like maybe after every new feature that I create, or if I change, because like I want to be careful to not also, because my tendency is to like delay a lot, I think. So I have to, in order to balance things out, I have to force myself to do it more often, I think. But at the same time, I don't want to do it like too often. Because like here, it feels like a little bit sooner, let's say a little bit earlier than I should be updating, I think. Like I think if I wasn't on the build space thing and I had to put the update, I think I would wait a little bit more until I have figured out the like the lines here. But I'm not really sure if that like is the best approach, or if I should just force myself, because I think that like the biggest issue I see with doing like too often is that the people will stop caring about if like every update there isn't anything like meaningful, even though like over the course of several updates there is a big change, because you're damaging the expectation, I think. So like ideally after every launch there should be a significant improvement, I think. But yeah, it's kind of hard to decide. So what should I do now? Maybe I should try to update these values here, make them responsive as well. This is going to be tough to do. And this is the reason why I said it is annoying to do with the library like this, because it's a black box. It's because of these kinds of things where to update the thing here to get the width and the height. That's gonna be like a very big pain in the ass, because I have to do it for the other components and I'm not really sure how to do that. Also think I should change here some of these values, because it's not exactly, but maybe it is correct to do it like this. But the problem here is how the hell I'm gonna resize these things. Here I don't understand really well as well, like why does this thing work if like I'm not, because the thing is I'm not using the options here anywhere, but just updating the options seems like it makes the thing work. I don't understand why. So I have to put inside of this function, I think, something that changes the size here of these things. Maybe I should read the documentation again. Also try to enter the Discord, but it looks like they don't have this Discord anymore, so I think that this is the stuff that I'm going to spend the most time on, to be honest. And like I have to figure out a way to try to understand the source code somehow. Obviously, it's very good that I have the library in the first place. It's just a challenge. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one has the... Maybe I was looking at the wrong one. It's still kind of annoying because when I have to spend a lot of time reading this, trying to understand, especially because there's so much stuff here. I think I searched for this before and didn't find anything here. And maybe this one is harder, so I should try to figure out if I can do the constraint first and change the way the lines work. And the challenge here is to understand how, like, either I need to have access to the shapes through a graph. Maybe this one is kind of easy to do because I can just initialize a graph here for each one. And then inside of the graph, I just change the configuration inside of the function here. Maybe that's the way. But maybe that's not the best way. So I have to see here. I think because this one it comes from the other library, I think, but maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing. I should have to remember where did I get. I think it was one of the examples here of this library, but I'm not really sure if they talk about events here. I think it was one of the examples in Pixie, and that's how I realized that they were using matter, and that's why I started using matter and then started reading the documentation. So I have to see, but I think they don't talk about the events. Maybe they do. Maybe I should do this in a different way as well. I don't like that much the way that they did this because, like, again, it's passing this configuration here and it's kind of confusing there because using reduce should put this on a. So I think what I have to do is study this shape, the shape component, and see if I can change the way that I'm passing things here. Just simplify this as much as possible. I'll probably remove this. I think I'm gonna remove everything from here. See if it changes anything. Remove this thing. This is just to create the boundaries there. I think it's still not updating, but now it's not showing there. So what I can do is start like this. Actually, let's do like this. Also have to fix this thing here. Yeah, now fucks up. There's the boundaries here, but it doesn't show anymore the line. But it still looks like it's working. So and this is the thing that I don't like that much. So here it gets the keys and then accumulates the keys. Like it transforms this into an array, I think. So the A is the accumulator, it spreads the A, gets the values of the config, and appends everything to the A. So this returns an array of the options, I think. And then it spreads this here with the options as well, which is a dictionary. So I have to understand how this works. And what I'm gonna do is pass the options instead directly there. So this is from the matter documentation, and I think that's the type there is a rectangle. Name is bottom. I'm not sure if the name makes any difference. I think it doesn't, but I'm not really sure. Because it's not using here, so. So it's just an array with the config, and then I'll do it here first. And I remove this thing here. the positions here. Things I don't understand if it is an array and then like a comma. I think that's, or if there is static is inside of the array. I think, let me see again here. Like instead of passing config and options, I'm gonna just pass like the thing directly. I think it's just the values. Yeah, because it's spreading the array and then the options. So. And then I don't need to pass this as well because I can hard code here. Oh, that's the problem. Wonder if that is gonna fuck up there. I need to see the arguments there. Like just seeing the documentation here. Bodies and then rectangle. X, Y, with height. It's not, it doesn't. I think I'm just gonna put the names themselves there. And then instead of passing like this, I pass the values. But maybe it is better to pass everything. Yeah, let me think. Like, what is the simplest possible way to do this? I think like the more declarative ways should just pass everything. So just pass X, Y. With height. It's much better. And then the only thing is that I'm gonna have to change here. But I think I'll finish this off stream. Do this one and then. I will just comment this out to see if it's working and then it stops for me. I think tomorrow, like after I stream right now, I'm just gonna do the video for posting on Twitter, and then tomorrow I'll just create another component. I think maybe I'll leave the fiber one until I have the pixie, until it looks a lot better, till the pixie looks a lot better. But I think what I'm gonna do is just create another component just to test a bunch of different things. Like do things just to like understand more how the two libraries work together. How to change the values. So actually before I do that, I think I'm probably gonna do the zoom event first on the one that I have now. Because I think I can move around. Also, is the bottom one, so yeah, I think it is working. So I'm just gonna stop here and I'm gonna change all of these shapes here. And I think the next thing that I'm gonna do is just add the zoom event for the thing. Because like the other concern that I have is the size of the thing. Like if these boundaries here are gonna fuck up when you zoom in and zoom out because the space you have to render everything is too small. That's a concern I have, like once you put thousands of nodes. But yeah, that's the next thing that I'm gonna do. Then after I do that, I'm probably gonna create another component and just play around with this to get better at both of the libraries, understanding, maybe study the source code as well for this one to understand how to change everything. Yeah, I think the main thing is just understanding how to add the events now, and then how to structure, how to add the events and how to structure the edges so that it looks better. And how I can customize based on props, all of the nodes based on the edges and the nodes, like depending on what visualization. And then after I do that, then it's more about, I'm gonna have to create I'm gonna change maybe after I do that, I'll focus on the UI and then making everything look better. But I have to really get better before in understanding how the event listeners work, how to change them. So I think that's the main priority before I even focus on anything else. Then once I get that down, then I'm gonna try to make this look a lot more similar to the Code Sandbox thing, the Code Sandbox website. And maybe add another div here that allows you to customize the way that the graph is gonna look. And then I have to think about all the possible visualizations to do. And I think that's going to be another very challenging thing, because I'm going to have to spend a bunch of time studying a bunch of stuff on Python to try to understand how to capture as much information as possible in the best way as possible to make it easier to understand what is going on inside of a Python software. So I'll probably come back tomorrow to keep working on this.